Hello, and welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. We are live, and we are powered by Fairway, as always, Fairway Food Stores. I am your co-host, Andy Kretzinger. We got Hunter Moeller here rocking the Dragon Ball Z shirt that he's trying to cover up. How's it going, Hunter?
I'm doing good.
And Nick Steffens, Dickie Brackets on the ones and twos. We're a little early today. Santa brought it early.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. The people who get that reference will be happier than the people who don't. But we are here with a little high school sports action. We're going to go a little quick today.
Yep.
I have been summoned to the dentist at about 1:30, and I still have stories to do. So that's why Santa brought it early today. So why don't we dive right in? Let's just dive right in. Oh, before we do that, you're watching this on. Where can you watch this show, Hunter?
Well, we can watch it. Well, we can watch it. You can watch it. Anybody can watch it on Washington Live's Facebook. We're on YouTube right now, live streaming. You can find us on Spotify. That's also we're also on the Fairfield Mount Pleasant Live's Facebook as well. So tune in any of those few streaming services there and check us out.
There we go. And we also, on our Twitter at Union Sports page, we always pin it. I always say that, and then I make sure I actually did. So anytime during the week when you go into our Twitter to look at scores or whatever, you should be able to click on it and watch it. So we're going to start with some softball today. Yep. We're going to go softball and baseball for the big schools to start things off. So this first segment is going to be softball, and I guess I should start us off because I had two of our three big school softball teams last night.
Get into it.
So I was at Fairfield Middle School last night for Fairfield, Washington. Hunter, in the last 16 matchups before last night, Washington had won one game over the Fairfield Trojans. Of all the teams that are a nemesis to Washington, it's definitely Fairfield. The Trojans stole two of them last year, where Washington had the lead the whole time. A couple of more exciting games last year. This year, it was the Washington Demons, at least in the first two games of the season here, because they'll play Thursday. But 11-9 in game one and 6-1. 11-9 game one, 6-1 in game two. But I would give, if you had to give specific players of the game, I would give the same kid the player of the game for game one and game two. And anybody there knew it was funny. We usually grab a player for a post-game interview if we can catch him. And there was absolutely no doubt who earned it last night. 8th grader Colby Greiner for Washington. Huge day offensively in game one, 11-9. And then she actually pitched a complete game in game two for the Demons. So I want to read this stat line for game one for her. 4 for 4, 2 homers, a double, and 4 RBIs. And that was in her first ever game against Fairfield. And what makes that kind of more impressive and kind of funny in a way is, so Fairfield ace Cody Engel has been one of their best pitchers since she was in 8th grade.
Right.
And I was trying to think, when she started pitching varsity softball, Colby Greiner would have been about 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old. The 8th grader went into Cicino last night. It was a big night for Washington in general. Was able to show off their bats pretty well. So they batted around in the second, scored 9 runs. That made it 10-1. Fairfield, of course, battled back, scored 3 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th. Olivia Hollander, who's been just on fire for Fairfield, sophomore center fielder. She had a 2 RBI triple in the 6th that cut it to 10-8. She ended up with 4 RBIs, and as I said, she had a great tournament this weekend for them as well. And then top of the 7th, Colby Greiner leads off, bombs one again, same spot, left field. It's 11-8. Fairfield still got the game-tying run to the plate, which that might have broke the Demons if Fairfield would have survived a 2 home run game from an 8th grader and still come back and win that. But Bella Salazar got out of it, forced a pop-up to end the game, and Washington took game one. And then in game two, it was Colby Greiner pitching for Washington. Usually they go Salazar and then Hallie Cutterback. Yep. I guess she's on a mission trip, so she couldn't pitch for him. Colby Greiner's. They have three pitchers that pitch a lot. It's not like it's 2 and then Colby gets starts here and there anyway. But she did a great job. She held Fairfield to a 1 run, which has to be their lowest in probably like 100 years against Washington, and their lowest of the season. She pitched great. By the way, I had some insight. Speaking of Colby Griner and the Griner family, I have some a source that let me know why Colby is so good at softball as an 8th grader, because I talked to her grandparents last night, and her grandma said that, so we know that there's a lot of them in the family that are playing sports right now for Washington, and Colby's the youngest, so her grandma said that since she was the youngest, she's the one who got picked on growing up, which is why she's so tough. So I said, I'm going to say it on the show tomorrow, and promises made, promises delivered. Delivered that line.
You had a good one.
Yeah, that's right. I actually texted you to make sure you reminded me.
And I didn't.
So yeah, she struck out 5. Salazar actually struck out 10 in game 1, despite the fact that Fairfield was still scoring a lot. Leah Helmick had a nice game for Fairfield. She had a couple hits and an RBI. Ella Griner had a couple hits in an RBI in game 2, and she had a nice game 1 as well. So it was a good night for the Griner family, and a very rare night for Fairfield getting swept at home anyway. And as I said, last year it was like no matter how good Washington played last year, it got to the 6th and 7th inning, and didn't matter what the score was. Fairfield was going to string together base hits until they won the game, and this year Washington is finally knocked them off. So big win for the Demons, by the way, because that keeps them 1 game below Burlington in the SEC standings, with, I believe, Keokuk and Burlington to go. Well, and Fairfield on Thursday, because Fairfield will come to Wash on Thursday. So if the Demons can get that, then it's a real thing. Then they are absolutely right there with Burlington for the conference here in a couple weeks. So and you were at a softball game that I was kind of shocked when you texted me the score of game 1, because Mount Pleasant was playing at number 9 Burlington last night.
Yeah, the story kind of, the past couple of weeks for Mount Pleasant, obviously they've been on a little, struggling as of late, and, errors have kind of been playing a big part. But last night, the Panthers looked pretty good out there in the field. I was texting you and I said, yeah, Mount Pleasant's only down 4-0, and it was 1-0 for four innings. They had a great effort from Ty Alter. I believe that's her name. Yep. Is that right? Pitching for the Panthers there, sophomore. She only gave up 4 hits and had 1 strikeout through 4 innings there. So, as I mentioned, great showing for her there. Panthers looked good out defensively. Really, the story of the night was they just couldn't get the ball outside of the infield. And if it went to the outfield, it was finding a Greyhound glove. Really, just couldn't get the runners on base and bring them home there. Mount Pleasant had just 3 hits. And 10 innings total through the 2 games there. As I mentioned, it was 1-0 heading into the 5th inning there in that first game. A 2-run homer kind of really, put the game on ice for how it was going, just at the plate for the Panthers there. So it ended up being 4-0 in that first one. They just had 1 hit in that game. Addison Clark, freshman Addison Clark, had a 2-out single in that one. And then in game 2, it was really what Burlington's been doing to teams all season long. It seems 12-0 for the Greyhounds in that one. Once again, struggling at the plate for the Panthers. The Greyhounds knocked in 5 runs in that first inning, 3 more in the second, and then plated 4 more in the third there to win at 12-0 after 3 innings. So a tough one there for the Panthers. But I mean, looking at that first game, they showed that they can hang with one of the best teams in the state. And obviously we can say Burlington's one of the best teams in the state. Obviously ranked 9th and just got done beating number 2 Norwalk over the weekend. So and then they had 8th grader Jocelyn Martin. Or JoLynn Martin in the circle there, and her and Jersey Beachy both picked up hits in that game, or picked up the 2 Panther hits in that second game there, and then Martin pitched in the circle as well. Yeah. So I mean, a pair of defeats, but you got to be, I'd be feeling good with how the season's been going so far, and you come in against a tough Burlington squad, and you're really in it you're really in it the entire game. Looking at that first game there.
Yeah, it's funny because. So Mount Pleasant played Washington in 3 games, and in 2 of those games they were leading in the 3rd inning, I think. And then to have this close one against Burlington, which it's a good sign when you have a lot of young kids. And by the way, those 3 pitchers for Mount Pleasant are all freshmen and under. Maya Starr and Martin and Alter are all pretty young and inexperienced, and they're able to hold that Burlington offense a little more silent. But that's good when you have a young team. You want to see them have a couple of these games where they're playing these super teams, and they can hang with them, that's a sign that maybe down the road here they'll be knocking off those teams. Although Burlington has a ton of young kids too. So.
Yeah, that's what's crazy is the Southeast Conference seems to be young like all around.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But
it is. So probably if you took an 8th grade freshman team of every conference and had them play a tournament, I would probably say Southeast Conference probably have a pretty good, darn good chance. So updating the standings. It's kind of turned into a 2-team race in the SEC. It hasn't kind of turned into a 2-team race. It is a 2-team race right now.
Burlington.
Yep, Burlington 8-0, Washington 7-1, Fort Madison and Fairfield both 3-5, Keokuk 2-6, and Mount Pleasant 1-7. So that 3rd through 6th are still up for grabs, and it seems like Washington and Burlington when they play, which I believe is next week, right?
Yes.
Mount Pleasant and Fairfield definitely play next week. That might be whatever happens on Thursday. That might be. No, Washington and Burlington actually play the last 3 games of the. So Washington plays Keokuk next week. So
wow, because it literally could be decided.
Probably going to be decided in that last series of the year, no matter how it shakes out. But yeah, speaking of shaking out, let's shake out some of our commercial time here. I've got a couple minutes of sponsors, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the big school baseball games from last night, and then we also have some. Big stuff to come with the small schools and a big Major League Baseball update. That's called a teaser, so you stick around.
Locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Unbelievable amount of devastation. I've never seen anything like it.
We had a beautiful barn that was gone in 20 minutes.
Farm Bureau stepped up right away and said, hey, we got you and we'll be there for you.
We were taken care of. Now we could get on to repairing and rebuilding.
I tell everybody about Farm Bureau.
We're fortunate to say we have good coverage with good people doing it.
Contact Farm Bureau agents Tony Starr and Mike Welcher in Mount Pleasant today.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
When you aspire to be a dancer, you are both an artist and an athlete. Your strength combines with beauty and grace seamlessly. Your efforts result in enhanced coordination, the ability to cooperate and compromise with others, and the confidence to perform in front of an audience. Not to mention the fun you will have and the lifelong friendships you will develop. We are enrolling now for fall classes, and we would love to see you shine like the star that you are. Join us for Dance and Tumbling at Stairway to the Stars. Please visit our website for online registration.
Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, whatever you have. Whatever you have, we got it. And we'll get on it. Just let us know if we're not. That's a promise I can't actually keep because that's not my responsibility. We're back. We're going to talk a little baseball. Should I go first again since it's...
I mean, I can go first if you don't.
Why don't you go first? You know what, Hunter, go first with a little Mount Pleasant. You know, Mount Pleasant put a scare into Burlington, undefeated in the conference play. Almost came to an end last night. How'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, right out of the gate, Mount Pleasant looked great at the plate. Turned a little lopsided late in game one, but game two was basically right down to the final 2 innings. But Burlington's a winner, winners in both games, 12-3 in game one and then 4-3 in game two. As I mentioned, the Panthers had the bats going early. They kicked off the scoring in the top of the second frame there, leadoff double by Carter Amos and a bunt by Payson Coleman, followed by a wild pitch, scored Amos to put them up 1-0 there. Pretty much every time the Panthers got on the board, Burlington was able to answer back. They scored 2 in the bottom of that frame and would never trail again. In the bottom of the fourth, Burlington made it 4-1 with another pair of runs there. Mount Pleasant was able to cut it down in the top of the fifth with 2 runs, making it a 1-run game there. RBIs from Jake Ensminger and Peyton Walker cut it to 4-3 there. And then the Panthers... That was really them the rest of the way out. I ended up scoring 5 in the bottom of that 5th inning there, and then 3 more in the 6th. And basically, the Panthers just couldn't make up the difference there. Zarek Vinghaus, Jake Ensminger, J.C. Sitar, Peyton Walker, Garrett Cook, Carter Amos, Ben Newton, and Payson Coleman all had 1 hit in that game. Ensminger pitched 5.1 innings there, allowing 12 runs, only 6 earned on there, 13 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts in that one. In game 2, really it was Mount Pleasant leading for the majority of this contest. They scored 3 in the top of that first inning. They got RBI singles from Ensminger and Sitar, and then an RBI double from Amos gave the Panthers a 3-0 lead. But once again, Burlington answered back 2 runs of their own in the bottom of that first inning. Both teams went scoreless through the next 4 innings into the 5th. It really became a pitcher's duel. Vanghaus was on the mound in that second matchup. Kyler Schwartz of Burlington. Those two kind of battled it out. Between the two of them, they allowed just 3 hits for 5 straight innings. And then to Mount Pleasant's dismay,
nice.
Yeah, you see that? You like that?
We were talking. He was trying to put. He put that in the story, and he was trying to think of the word dismay just a few minutes before the show.
Yeah, but it was Burlington that broke that scoreless streak there in the bottom of the 6th with a pair of runs, which proved to be game winners. As the Panthers couldn't bring the tying run, game winning run either in the top of the 7th. So. Another tough loss there for the Panthers there. Carter Amos finished with a pair of hits and an RBI in that game. Ensminger and Sitar both had hits, and Ensminger finished with 1 RBI as well. And then Vanghaus pitched a complete game, allowed just 4 runs, 0 earned in that one, on 6 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. So pretty efficient outing for him. Just tough loss there, though, but nice showing in that second one at least.
Yeah, so now Mount Pleasant's got 4 losses in conference play, and 3 of those are winnable. 3 of those they played pretty tight.
And really, if you look at the standings, if you look at the standings, Burlington obviously you mentioned 6 undefeated in the conference, 6-0 if the varsity bounds right. I have to go count it up, but Mount Pleasant's only 4-2.
4-4. Those 2 are not in yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, 4-4.
Yeah, I'd be 4-4 then. So really, if Fairfields aren't in.
What's Fairfield?
Fairfield's 4-4 too, I think.
Yep, because everyone's got 8.
So we look at it, Fairfield, Mount Pleasant tied 4-4 there. Really, Mount Pleasant gets another shot at Burlington on Thursday
at home.
Really, they could kind of pull in, at least get steal 1 from there, and then they'd have to have Burlington kind of
fall apart a little bit in the last 6. These teams still have 1 on Thursday, and then 7 games still left in the conference. So a lot can happen in 7 games.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah. I thought you had something else going there.
No.
Well, I'll talk about Fairfield and Washington. So game 1 last night, it was funny because of the JV game went long. The softball game was already in the bottom of the 2nd by the time baseball started. And I looked over and it was like I was taking pictures of softball. I'm sitting over there looking at you can see the scoreboard at the baseball field when you're standing on the softball field. And you just see the inning just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, quick, and it quickly passed the softball game, and it was because we had Washington's Isaac Vetter and Fairfield's Tate Allen, 2 of the best in the conference, going at it, and it was just one of the quickest games you could see. The 2 pitched pretty flawlessly the entire game. Fairfield got 3 hits on the night, and Washington got 2. They both pitched a complete game, but the 1 run came in the bottom of the 6th for Fairfield. So after Allen had sat down Washington in the top of the 5th, Fairfield got a runner on. Dane Burkhart, freshman, came up to the plate. They ran, I think it was just a straight up squeeze. It wasn't even really like a safety squeeze. It was more of a suicide because the runner did take off. But Dane Burkhart, I don't know why I want to give him the nickname Dane the Brain because it rhymes. But I don't want to do that yet. I'll clear it with him, but I think that'd be a sweet name. But a pretty smart bunt because it was right in the middle of pitcher and catcher. And, when it came to even thinking about trying to throw the runner off at home and then turning around and trying to get him at first, he ended up getting a bunt single out of it. So that was an RBI bunt single for Burkhart, the only RBI, the only run of the game. Tate Allen gave up 2 hits and struck out 8. So that's pretty much the story game one. A really tough loss for Isaac Fetter because he pitched great. He only struck out 2 batters, but he just throws so many strikes and lets his defense do the work. Yes?
I was going to ask, was Kason Miller back yet?
No, he was there, but no, not
haven't
quite.
Played yet this year. I was just
curious. Yes, got an injury. I don't have I should have asked his dad last night about it, or him, but I don't know. I know he was battling injuries during wrestling season as well. So.
I just knew he was injured or something, and I was
yeah.
That's kind of a.
That's a big loss for them, especially because. They lost a good amount of senior talent from last year.
Well, and I believe they had, I think Tate was playing in the outfield, and now he's came in the shortstop.
Yeah, he plays shortop if he doesn't
Miller
pitch.
was playing shortstop last year.
Yep, he was their main shortstop last year. So, yeah, they're a little, messed around. And Fairfield has lost a lot of close games. Right. They've played more close games than probably anybody. Mm-hmm. So they finally got a couple last night because there was a walk-off in game 2. It depends on how you define a walk-off. I'll explain what happened. First off, it was 4-4 going into the 8th. A wild one. In this one, there was a lot of back and forth. Caleb Zaglaski had tied the game for Washington in the 5th at 4-4. They went into extra innings in the bottom of the 8th. Aiden Kruger got on for the Trojans. Tate Allen bunted him over, and then Landon Nordift. And by the way, if I'm pronouncing that name, I should have asked him how to pronounce his name last night.
I've heard it like different.
When I see his name, I want to say No Drift, but I think that's just because of the Fast and the Furious. I'm a big Fast and the Furious fan, so that's what pops into my brain. But Landon came up and sent a shot to center, which sent a shot to center, and center fielder misplayed a little bit, but jumped up and it bounced out of his glove. I probably would have scored a hit, but it was on the very official iScore and Varsity Bound apps. It is going down as an error. So I still count that as a walk-off. Yeah, why not? So he got to second on it. It wasn't technically a double. Scored the run, and Fairfield got a big win. As you said, that puts them at 4-4 in conference play, which puts them at least in a chance to take second. It's going to be a battle for second place between, you want to do a conference. Before we go to commercial, we need to do a conference baseball full update. You said Burlington 8-0, Mount Pleasant and Fairfield both 4-4. Fort Madison does not have their games in from last night. Do you know what happened in Fort Madison last night?
While you were talking, I can look it up.
I tried to look it up too. They're not on. But let's just say they swept Keokuk last night because that's what we would have guessed would have happened. Those would probably be pretty close. But Fort Madison is right there with those guys, and then Washington's only 3-5 because they got those 2 wins over Mount Pleasant and one against Fort Madison. So second place is really up for grabs between everyone, depending on what happened last night between Fort Madison and Keokuk. So I'm sure there was something on Twitter about it, but maybe we'll get it on the break. But yeah, so that's where we stand right now. Mm-hmm. Reminder, there's non-conference games Tuesday and Thursday, but conference-wise, it's flipped. So now, since Washington played at Fairfield, Fairfield will play at Washington for 1 game baseball and softball on Thursday, and Mount Pleasant will host Burlington for 1 game on Thursday night as well. So we'll see how that all pans out, and we'll go ahead. Did you figure it out?
No, they just have softball up. That's all I can find.
Oh, well. That doesn't help us on the baseball standings. Nope. Well, oh well. We're going to go to commercial anyway. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the small schools and some extra fun that happened this weekend. So stick with us.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656. Bring the kids and share the memories from steam engines, antique cars and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Maybe your memories are of great food from the North Village to the Log Village, or going to one of the amazing concerts. This is the place where memories are made. Make plans now to enjoy the history of the past at the 2023 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 31st through September 4th in Mount Pleasant. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
At 5 Star Community Credit Union, we want to help you lead a better life. We offer competitive rates and convenient appointment times for all kinds of loans: auto, recreational vehicles, home equity line of credit, holiday, and personal loans. We make it easy to build your credit and enjoy the good things in life.
We invite you to join 5 Star Community Credit Union. We are community-minded and member-focused. Come visit our locations in West Burlington and Mount Pleasant or online at 5starcu.org. Federally insured through the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
At Brown Shoe Fit, we pride ourselves on traditional sit and fit service that's been serving the Mount Pleasant area since 1952. At Brown's, we have shoes for the whole family. From kids to adults, we carry the finest footwear for every occasion. Whether you're looking for something for work, casual wear, or exercise, we've got you covered. And don't forget about our selection of safety toe footwear for both men and women. Come visit us 6 days a week and experience the best in traditional sit and fit service. Brown Shoe Fit, where quality and tradition meet.
Welcome. Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, powered by Fairway Food Stores. I didn't say it last commercial, so I'll say it again. Powered by Fairway Food Stores. What's your favorite thing to get from Fairway, Hunter?
Meat.
Everything? Meat? Yeah, that's a good point. That's all I need to say about that. That was perfect. All right. Hunter, why don't you take us through some baseball from last night?
Yeah. First off, a little trivia for you. Can you guess our probably the hottest team we cover right now?
Baseball-wise?
Yeah.
It's definitely Van Buren County.
Yes. You know how many they've won straight?
I'm going to guess 12 because you said this during the break and I overheard you.
Yep. 12 straight wins for the Warriors. They downed Louisa Muscatine last night. 10-1. Yeah, there's probably this is the longest win streak of any of our teams this season. Mid-Prairie, I believe, had a 9-10 game win
Yeah.
before they lost there. So Van Buren playing real well. Only one loss on the season thus far. So another small school baseball action. Highland fell by 1 run to Mediapolis. That 1 run came in the 4th inning there. So tough loss for the Huskies there. Mid-Prairie, we mentioned them. They were in action last night. Number 2 right now in Class 2A. Very tough loss for them last night in a pair of games against Regina Catholic. Well, they split with the Regals over there. 4-3 lost in that first game. Answered back with a 6-3 victory there. Keota took on a tough Linville Sully team. I believe they're top 5 in Class 1A. 14-0 right now. 12-2. The Eagles lost to Linville Sully there. And then pretty big win for New London. Hillcrest Academy had been playing extremely well.
Yeah, they would have been, I would say, tied for our hottest team. Well, besides Van Buren beat them the other day.
Yeah, Hillcrest Academy was playing very well. Tigers have a pretty young squad after losing pretty much every starter but one on last year's state championship team. But the Tigers come out with an 8-4 win over the Ravens. They're at home, so big result there for the Tigers. But yeah, that's all we have. All I have on my side for baseball. Not too many games, but there'll be packed action tonight.
Yeah, for sure. A few softball from last night. Winfield Mount Union plays another football game, 21-7 over Danville. The stats for Winfield are gonna be great because they've hit 20 runs now like 4 times. The perfect. I love seeing a perfect football score in baseball, softball. Josie Nelson doubled, 3 RBIs and 4 runs scored. Quinn Smith 3 RBIs, a couple hits for the Wolves in that one. Van Buren County played Louisa Muscatine pretty tough, ended 12-8 in favor of Louisa Muscatine. Van Buren County had a bomb from Ivy Davidson. She went 3 for 4 with a homer, 4 RBIs, and a couple runs scored. And then Kylie Rowan had 3 RBIs. By the way, I watched Van Buren County this weekend at the Fairfield tournament. They played they lost their first game to eventual champion Chariton, so they played Mount Pleasant and New London in the consolation bracket. They looked very good. They won that consolation bracket the other day. And speaking of New London, 16-6 losers to Hillcrest Academy. So Hillcrest is their 4th win of the softball season. Delaney Shaw had a couple doubles. She went 3 for 3 last night, 3 RBIs. Morgan Knapziger, 3 RBIs and a couple of hits as well. So Hillcrest, look at that, 4-8. On the rise a little bit, that program. Columbus played Holy Trinity last night, a rarity. Lily Coyle, Holy Trinity got to Lily Coyle a little bit, but it wasn't enough. Columbus 10-8, and Coyle had a bomb of her own. She went 4 for 5, a homer. Oh, wait a minute, this is a cycle alert. I got a cycle alert here. Yes, I got a cycle alert. 4 for 5, homer, triple, double, single. Wow. Cycle for Lily Coyle. I still have yet to do the story on the softball roundup, but I know what we're leading it with. And a couple RBIs for her. Jocelyn Fulton, 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. We got to tweet out that cycle alert as soon as possible. And then Keota falls 12-0 to Linville Sully. And have I missed anybody? Have I missed anybody? Did I click on Highland? Did I click on Highland?
Nope.
I click on Highland. They play against Pekin tonight. Did they play last night? Sure did.
Yep.
13-1 winners over Mediapolis. No offensive stats here. Oh my gosh, I was just looking at the Highland Mediapolis all-time series. You want me to count how many times Highland's beaten Mediapolis in softball? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 in a row for Highland over Mediapolis in softball. And that team is heating up a little bit as well. So, yeah, Cardinal didn't play the other night. I was telling somebody, as we've mentioned on the show tonight, that Cardinal and Highland definitely are 2 more dangerous teams that maybe didn't have as many wins as they thought in the first couple of weeks. So that's it for softball. A little housekeeping to take care of. We have a Union area major leaguer officially. Pekin graduate Keaton Wynn, who was in school at the same time as you at New London.
Yep.
He graduated in 2016, and yesterday we got a few phone calls and messages because the San Francisco Giants had just made the announcement that he has been called up to major leagues. And you said that you don't remember facing him in baseball, right?
No, I mean I do remember facing him, but just not him.
Oh, not in far. Oh, I got you. He didn't pitch against you in baseball.
He was like their shortstop or something.
Yeah, I of course I didn't technically cover Pekin because we had a Fairfield guy, but yeah. I had he was a really good basketball player and obviously baseball player. He had a 20 strikeout perfect game at Lone Tree, which Lone Tree was a pretty good school. I think they knocked him out of the playoffs one of those years. Yeah. Yeah, of course you remember. He's won against them. 20 strikeout perfect game when he was in high school. So he's called up by the Giants. Now he
should be pitching against the Cardinals.
I assume he's in the bullpen. Well, he pitches for AAA Sacramento, and he's a starter. He's in the rotation. Right. And they pushed his start back the other day because they knew he was going to get called up, obviously. And so I would assume he can come in at any time. They're in St. Louis tonight, which, funny enough, is the closest field to his family, and they had something last night.
Yeah, MLB posted on Twitter like a bunch of people, like the whole town's here. It's like
yeah, they also they said it was the first time he's ever actually been to a major league park, which is kind of insane. It is crazy, but then I was also a kid growing up in South Central Iowa, and I didn't go to a major league park till after college, till college. So I kind of get that a little bit. I mean, the rest of his life he's been playing at the other field, so he didn't have time to go to a major league game until now. Right. They play at 6:45 tonight at St. Louis, so he didn't get in last night, but they play at St. Louis tonight. They play at St. Louis tomorrow, and then on Friday he gets to go against the Dodgers. Giants Dodgers, his first taste of the rivalry. So Keaton Wynn, we'll be watching out for that. Got a little story and hopefully a bigger story here later in the week about that. So everybody watch the game tonight, and probably on TV for a lot of people.
Yeah.
in Pekin area, at least, because I think they usually get the Cardinals. Anyway, you got anything else?
Nothing really, other than summer sports are continued to chug along, I guess.
That's right. And we got to chug along because we got about 12 minutes to do about 30 minutes of work here after the show.
I'll be in West Burlington tonight watching our Van Buren County Warriors take on the Falcons over there. So
yes, and I am going to go to Washington for their game against a baseball game against Oskaloosa, but I'll make a short appearance in Winfield because my kid plays a youth game in Winfield, and so then I'll go on up to Washington. So I might get to see a little bit of the Winfield games as I watch my child. And that's all. So we got to get going because we got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, we do.
I got to go to the dentist. For Hunter Moeller and Nikki Brackett's Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk powered by
Fairway.
We will be back
next week.
See ya.
See ya.